Horseback hawking and horseback falconry have been around over 1,000 years. It's an ancient art, mainly done by nobility. We are so fortunate today to be at Thundercloud Ranch. We're going to introduce you to someone that can teach us more about it. Okay, Sarah, first of all, you're going to have to pronounce your last name because I know I'd butcher it.
No problem. My last name is Pereverziev.
Wow, okay. And where does that come from?
It's Russian Ukrainian.
So I want to ask you about, well, you handle birds of prey, and you had said to me that it's highly regulated.
It is.
And I started reading about it. I thought, you're the expert. Tell us about that.
Well, I handle birds of prey in a falconry sense, so I'm a licensed general falconer. There's 3 levels to falconry. The first is apprentice, then general, and then master. So I'm kind of mid-range. I don't know everything, and you'll hear me say this again in the interview. I don't know everything there is to know about falconry, and even if I become a 20-year master falconer, there's something you can always learn from the sport. It is highly regulated. There are state and federal laws that govern falconry. There's an act called the Migratory Bird Act. That means that you cannot go out and take any bird that is native to the United States and have it as a pet. That includes things like the American crow. But under my falconry license, that gives me the ability to train wild-caught birds of prey that are regulated within the state and the federal government.
That leads me to my next question, which is for you, or maybe just in general, are the birds brought up young or are they wild caught? How does that work?
That's a great question. So, as an apprentice falconer, you must trap your own wild bird.
Really?
That does not mean, however, you have to climb a tree and get a baby. That's not allowed in the state of California. What is allowed is once that baby bird has fledged and they're hunting on their own, then you have permission with your sponsor to go trap that young bird and train them. And you would train this bird similar to, in sense, as you would train a Mustang. You gentle them. There's no coercion or force or anything that you can do to train a wild bird. They can fly away. So we teach these young birds as apprentice falconers that we mean food, and then we become their hunting partner. Hunting becomes easier if they partner with a human.
And they learn this.
They do.
Yes.
This is something that's innate to them too. It is ingrained in their behavior. In fact, I urge anybody that ever sees a tractor tilling a field to look on the power poles around that field. Red-tailed hawks specifically have learned that if a tractor's tilling a field, that means there might be game that is flushed. So these birds develop these behaviors to help them be successful in the wild.
So you had told me earlier, before we started the interview, that you've been doing this about 2 years. How did you get interested in this?
Well, I am a horse trainer and exercise rider, and anything related to horses. I've been working in the horse industry for many years now, and I met a client who was a master falconer, and he found out that I was educated at UC Davis for avian biology, and so we'd ride together and we'd talk. I mean, the conversation was 100% bird while we were riding horses, and one day he said, I'd sponsor you to be a falconer if you want to be a falconer.
Really?
And I said, I don't want to do it. Falconers are crazy people. I don't know if I can handle that. And I thought about it, and I realized what a golden opportunity it was. I love birds, so I took the leap. It was expensive to get into, and it is a meticulous field of. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle. But without his help and the push,
yes.
I wouldn't be here today.
Right. And I understand there are very few people that teach this anymore.
It is an apprenticeship program, so you have to find a sponsor. There's many people online who will ask, "Where's my sponsor? Can someone sponsor me?" And usually people say no if they're able to sponsor, because having a bird of prey is a status symbol to a lot of people. People want a pet owl. They want an eagle. But falconry is about hunting, and it's about a bird partnership. So you have to be willing to do the work to get to that point.
Yeah. Let's talk about the equipment that you need. You
Sure.
brought some examples to show us too.
Right. So when I got into falconry, my sponsor was awesome. He gave me a bunch of tools to be successful, mental tools, but also physical equipment.
Uh-huh.
With the startup costs were about $2,000. That includes the hawk house that the bird needs to live in, gloves, stands on which the birds can sit, jesses, anklets, all of the hawk furniture, falconry furniture is what it's specifically called.
Yeah.
And then you need a place to store the food that you hunt or that you have to purchase for your bird during the off season, which we're in right now.
Okay. So, Sarah, you're sitting very calmly here with your bird on a horse.
Mm-hmm.
The bird could hurt you, your horse could hurt you. How much trust is involved in this partnership?
I trust William more than I trust most people. I've had him since he was 2.5, and we've done everything together. And I mean, you can name it, we've done it. So he understands the job. The assignment is clear to him. I wouldn't mistrust him for a second. The bird, she's a bird of prey. She would prefer to be flushing game right now and getting a kill, so her sitting here is neither here nor there. If she flaps around, he's not gonna mind.
And does she get excited like, okay, I'm on William now, it means that I'm hunting?
Oh, these birds get really excited.
Okay.
They also, once they get used to the idea of hunting on horseback, they know what that means. Just like when you pull a dog leash out and say, we're gonna go for a walk. Can't say that in most households.
Right. So what type of horse is suited for something like this?
You can do mounted falconry on any horse as long as they have the mindset for it. Mm-hmm. It's less a breed and more a personality. So he's calm, but he has giddy up and go if he needs to. And the biggest thing is they need to be well trained enough to wear hobbles while you're minding your bird. And I have a set of hobbles on this saddle. If I need to go and assist my bird while she's on game, then I can hobble him, he'll go and he'll eat, he'll stay nearby, and he's ready for the next round.
And when you do signal the bird that it's going to fly, does your horse need to be quick on its feet because you go with the bird, right? I mean...
It depends, yes. So for the type of mounted falconry we're doing, it's close flights. We're hunting squirrels. Out here in California, in this specific part, that's the game you can hunt with red-tailed hawks on horseback. You could hunt jackrabbits. We've been less successful with it, but squirrel hawking is incredible because the squirrels see the horse as just another grazing animal. They're not afraid of the horses, which makes it easier for us to get the bird on some good quarry.
Anybody that has a horse knows that most of the time your hands are on the rein. So
Right.
Okay, let's talk about, you've got a bird in one hand, and how does that work?
So I've spent years of my life with William making sure that he is in tune with me with seat and leg aid. I can lean back in the saddle and ask for a step of back, and he'll give it to me without any touching of the reins. That's important. Because if my bird's having a bad go of things, if she baits off the glove, it's called baiting when they flap away and they're still attached, he can't be bothered by that. So I need I need both hands sometimes, but my legs and my body, that's what's signaling him.
Mm-hmm. I could talk to you for hours. I think I've covered most things, haven't I?
I think so.
So if someone wants to know more, how do they get in touch with you, Sarah?
I would say if you ride horses and you want to come out and learn about mounted falconry, I'd be happy to offer help. As a falconer, because I'm a general falconer, I don't have the qualifications to help people be their own falconers quite yet. However, I would be happy to help people get started on their journey just by showing them what it took me. It's not for the faint of heart. It requires knowledge of birds and knowledge of horses and a little bit of craziness to want to come out and pursue this sport.
So you're on Instagram?
Yes.
Facebook too, or?
Yes, my business is Thundercloud Ranch. You can type that into Instagram and Facebook and we'll come up on both platforms.
Very good. Thanks so much, Sarah. William, and your beautiful bird.
They say thank you.
All right.